Everybody knows that the Nigerian presidential election is closely approaching. And with less than 4 weeks to go, I had the fortunate opportunity to meet with the presidential candidate for the KOWA Party, Professor Remi Sonaiya. Now, there's been an excessive amount of coverage on the campaign so far, and with such a male-dominated race, some say it's a breath of fresh air to see a female run for office. Just over 4 weeks ago, most Nigerians had no idea that the KOWA Party, its manifesto, and Mrs. Sonaiya existed. So I'm here in Lagos at the Nigeria Info FM headquarters as a voice for young Nigerians. In this exclusive interview, Nigerians will have the opportunity to get the real scoop on Ms. Sonaiya's campaign and find out why she's asking for your vote. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for sitting down with me today. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm a mother of two, a man and a woman, because I can call them a boy and a girl anymore. And I'm a grandmother. I love traveling. I love cooking. I'm a singer.
Biggest question everybody's asking is, with less than 4 weeks to go, why are we only hearing from you now?
My name came out quite a few weeks ago.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so I'm surprised when I go on the air, like when I just finished a program now, and somebody says, I'm just hearing about you for the first time. My name has been out there.
I asked Mrs. Sonaiya what inspired her to run for office.
It's to give a dignified life to Nigerians. I keep looking at our condition of living and saying, this is not how we ought to be living. My vision also is a Nigeria where nobody's, I just said it, you know, in my other interview, where nobody suffers needless exclusion.
Let's look at it from the perspective of young Nigerians, okay? Because there's over 30 million of us between the ages of 20 to 29. And 43% of that population are under the age of 14. So in layman's terms, the decisions you and everyone makes today, it will affect us. Yeah, it will affect us tomorrow.
Definitely.
So let's talk about education. Mrs. Sonaiya comes from an academic and educational background. So I asked her what she thought about the education system and how it could be improved. What would you do tomorrow? What would you scrap? What would you take out? Or what would you, you know, what would be the first port of call as far as education?
There will be several. You see, I don't see these things in, you know, 1 or 2 or 3. You've got to just attack several things at the same time. One does not wait for the other. The quality of the teaching is so important.
Sure. So you'd implement new training?
So training, retraining also. There are people there who probably have not attended any course or whatever, you know, any conference and things like that, to upgrade their own status for a long time. We're not keeping pace with the rest of the world. But also there is a whole reorientation that is required. I would like to call it education for development.
The unemployment crisis in Nigeria is at a record all-time high. I asked Mrs. Sonaiya what her and the KOWA Party proposed to do to create more jobs for Nigerians in 2015.
The issue of unemployment, yes, people have said many of the graduates from our institutions, they're not well trained, you know, the companies always have to retrain them and so on. They are not employable and whatever. But we're in a kind of a vicious cycle.
Many people want to know what makes Mrs. Sonaiya different from past leaders.
Well, first of all, the fact that I'm a woman, they have not seen that before. Okay, so that's a first thing. Let's try a woman this time.
People are skeptical about a female president, and want to know, is Mrs. Sonaiya the change that Nigeria really needs?
If you are not willing to get involved, to positively seek a change, you know, who do you think is going to fix this place for you? Some of us have got to stay here and fix this place. So that's my message.